So let's jump right in, other people's money. I'm gonna break this section down into just that, other people's money. Other. It's gross, right? Thinking about coming out to somebody, hey, can I have $1, please? Like, ew, yucky. It's gross, right? Let's just realize that our civilization tells us it's not cool to go out and raise money. But civilization also tells us that mortgages are cool. They tell us to go out and borrow $150,000 and then make $400,000 out of us by the end of the term. So our society is not exactly telling us the truth about everything. So we have to acknowledge that other people's money is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, we do it with banks, with mortgages, right? There's total strangers, but we trust them even though we know that they are doing us harm in the long run. We know that there's people out there that are sitting on cash, and they want to make good returns, but they don't have somebody that could perform. You could start a bread loaf company tomorrow. You buy 100 loaves of bread for $1 each. You make this amazing marketing campaign. It's $2 now. You mark it up. You just made yourself a 100% return. And now you could get probably, I don't know, 5 at least of my investors to get behind your business. So we have to realize that it's feasible and it's practical. You're actually helping your local community, your local friend, actually make even more money, multiply their money. And even in the first year of me like leaving my job, I realized that pretty quickly. Even though I had a good nest egg to pursue properties, I couldn't actually scale up the business. I could do maybe 1, 2 properties at a time. So the weird thing is, even though I saved up this money to leave my job, I still ended up raising capital. I got partners on flips, partners on rentals. So I could have done this so much more earlier, so many more years before, if I just focused. So that's the other part. I know I went on a bunch of tangents there, but let's talk about the people. There's a lot of folks out there that actually want to invest money. There's probably several in here, you may not even know them. You actually may be stereotyping them, unfortunately. I had the same thought process, right? Like, you've seen dudes like in networking events, like they have like flip-flops, some tattered like tank top, got some shorts on, and these guys, they may look weird, but ironically, sometimes they have the most dough or the most connections. They just don't care about how they look. So don't stereotype people. When you go in networking, treat everybody like they're a trillionaire. And that's really how we should be living in general, but unfortunately, again, society has told us to kind of ignore people that aren't dressed a certain way or a certain way. But when you go into networking once a month, keep this in mind. Now, the last part to this is the money piece. And I briefly covered the bread loaf scenario. But you really got to think about, actually, my brother Suresh May had a great analogy he shared with me a couple months ago on a video. You got to think about it from a cut-off water bill type moment, that you're selling this investment idea, this business idea you have. That when your water's cut off, of course you want to jump on that matter as soon as you can, right? There's nothing else that's more important. That's how you got to look at your investment, your presentation. It has to be like, just take my money! Oh my goodness! I'm losing out! That's how juicy your deals have to be. And that's what's made our business amazing and why our investment business continues to grow. Because our returns are just obnoxious. We're just destroying the stock market. And you could also do the same with whatever business idea you have, whatever investment idea you have. Now, so we covered the other people's money. We addressed the yuckiness. We addressed that it's feasible. People actually need this. You're actually helping people by raising capital. That they're just sitting on this and they're losing it to inflation. They're losing it to stock market, which is really like gambling. if you don't know what you're doing, you're probably going to make sub 6% returns, whereas you know you could do better. Your idea hopefully is better than that bread loaf idea I had, but I know you could do a lot better with your business. I know you can make great returns for folks. All right, so for this section, for this activity, we're actually going to just kind of go deeper into out of all the people at your table you talk to, hone in on one person that you know you could combine with, and just kind of think of an action plan. Your next step. That's ultimately what I would like for all of us coming out of this. A next step.